kami seangkatan ada 9 orang dari angkatan saya. Saya angkatan cewek pertama di Tembilahan nih Mbak, BTW.
Wah, luar
Sebelumnya
biasa. Saya dulu di Pangkalan gitu tuh Mbak, ini teman-teman saya nih. Angkatan pertama cewek. Mbak Tala masuk tahun berapa sih?
Masuk tahun 2018, Kak. 2018 akhir.
Oke.
Iya.
Oke, Depik, kita bisa siap-siap mulai ya.
Oke.
Oke.
We will start at 4 p.m.
Yes, already.
Please
We can start
give me
Depiks.
assign.
Oke.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Hi everyone. Welcome to InspiraTalk held by Mr. Iswandi. This is the 8th series of a webinar aiming to give inspiration to everyone to share and learn together about everything. So if you are interested in foreign affairs, living abroad, or another skill improvement, this is the right place for you. In the previous session, we had sharing session from Nigeria Customs, Brazil Customs, and this time we're going to have sharing session from our fellow custom officer that has been experienced in working overseas. So, although the Zoom meeting is brought in English, please don't hesitate if you want to speak out or aspire your ideas. You may try to express any opinion either in English or in Bahasa. Both of them are okay. Everything is okay here as long as you try your best and not afraid to make mistakes. There will be no right or wrong here, but there is a room for improvement. So this is a safe place to all of us to learn English together and also learn something new from our speaker. Before we start the session, let me introduce myself. My name is Dewanti. Actually, I'll be your moderator today. People usually call me Depi. And starting from July the 1st, 2020, I work at Direktorat Kepabeanan Internasional dan Antar Lembaga as a staff in Vice Chair Office. You can also follow me on Instagram at Depiks, DEPIKSS, because I'd love to make new friends with all of you. And first and the foremost, I'd like to thank Mr. Iswandi for arranging this webinar and giving me the chance to become a moderator. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Depiks. Thank you for having you now as a moderator.
Yeah, it's been an honor for me to be a moderator for this event. And we are pleased to inform you that among us here, we had technical officer from World Customs Organization or WCO as a speaker for the session, Mr. Tejo Kusuma. Good afternoon, Mr. Tejo from Brusels, Belgium.
Good afternoon, everyone, and good evening for Mas Iswandi.
Thank you, Tejo.
Also to all participants here, thank you for taking time out of the day to attend this InspiraTalk. We know all of you had your own working schedule, but surprisingly, there are 35 participants here joining the session in the middle of hustle and bustle. So our topic today is working experience at WCO in Brussels, Belgium. Before I hand the mic over to our host today, I have a few housekeeping items to cover about this sharing session. The first one is today's webinar is broadcasted live on YouTube. Also, it will be available on demand after the live session through Iswandi Bana YouTube page. Second, if you have any questions during the presentation, just type your question into the chat box or raise your hand. At the end of speaker sessions, me as a moderator would like to invite you to activate the microphone so you can ask your question to the speaker directly. And last, we really appreciate if you could give us feedback at the end of the session to our speaker. Is it a lot of noise in my room, Mr. Iswandi?
Yeah,
I'm
I think that's Vice Chair WCO is working now.
Friends of
It's
mine.
okay. It's okay.
There are a lot here. They are so excited to join the session today. They will speak up. I promise you, they have to because
They
they
have to.
already joined our session here. And so, without any further ado, I'd like to kick things off by welcoming our host, Mr. Iswandi, to give opening remarks. Mr.
Okay.
Iswandi, over to you.
Thank you so much, Dewanti Yanuar Sah ya. Oh, salah. Don't forget to
Sah.
follow her Instagram at Depix, one of the best moderator in Bea Cukai. Currently,
Please do.
she's working as a part of Vice Chair WCO Asia Pacific for Indonesia Custom DJBC. And first of all, I would like to say thank you very much for all participants, mostly I think from the generations of Z or millennials. Also Mas Tarto, our experts, thank you so much for coming. And Mas Tejo, one of my colleagues with a lot of talents and also high-tech skills. Thank you for joining us to share. We would like to know about his experience, how to break through the borders of WCO, to be a part of the team, to acknowledge the ups and downs working in the WCO. Okay, let me. All right. And also, we'll have a discussion. You can ask, we suggest you to ask in English, but if you stuck like me, maybe, or the other participant, you can say in Bahasa or mix bilingual. Maybe me or Depix or Pak Tarto will suggest you any terminologies or terms or words in English. So don't worry, do not hesitate to speak, to acknowledge your skill, your speaking skill and listening skill in this webinar. And don't forget also to be active. We're still waiting for the other participants. If you know your friends are registered for 100 participants, come on, ask them to join us because it's limited edition. So the other one just cannot attend because they only see from YouTube. So if you have the friends that not already joined, you can ask them to join. Thank you, Debix. I give it to you back.
Thank you, Mr. Iswandi, for very warm welcoming remarks. So now we're moving on to the one that we've been waiting for. I'm pretty sure there are a lot of participants here that can't wait to hear real stories or experiences from our speaker who now living many other people's dreams, which is to work overseas but still being a civil servant. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Tejo Kusuma, Technical Officer Facilitation IT of World Custom Organization. Mr. Tejo, the spotlight is yours. Please give a round of applause, everyone.
Okay, thank you very much. So first of all, I would like to congratulate the DJBC for the successful election of the vice chairmanship of the WCO. So it has been made official since I think last 2 weeks, after the council session. So I think it is really a good momentum. It is a really good opportunity as well for the team there in the vice chairmanship. I think there are a lot of opportunity, a lot of new experience. I think that you will experience ahead of you. So first of all, congratulate for all of you, all of the team, and you need to actually use all of the opportunity that you have. And then secondly, of course, I would like to thank Mas Iswandi Bana for this opportunity for having me as a speaker here. So I have been following a number of sessions prior to this session, and Mas Iswandi has quite a few of prominent persons around the world. So it's give me a little bit of pressure for me. So hopefully today in today's session, I can provide some little bit interesting information for you, and also hopefully it's also useful. Okay, so I prepare a presentation. So how will we do this?
I will play for you.
Okay.
Don't worry. Okay, wait a moment. Yep.
Okay, so next, Mas Iswandi. Right. So Mas Iswandi has given me a number of pointers, a number of bullet point on what are the speaking point or what are the information that I can share with you. So I list them all down. So hopefully I will be able to cover everything. And I was given 45 minutes for this one. So hopefully I will not take all of the time so that we can have more time to have a conversation about anything and our session become more active. So if I go through all the item, I will cover at the beginning, I will cover about the experience in applying the WCO vacancy. What are the selection process? What should be prepared? What are the cultural shock when I first time arrived in Brussels in Belgium? What are the work challenges? What are the benefits in working with the WCO, the life balance in Brussels, and other working experience? So those are some of the things that I will cover. Yeah. So before we go for every item there, I think it's necessary uh, to understand or to know what the WCO is, because to be honest, before I joined the WCO, I don't know what WCO is. So it's quite ironic, and then I start to learn what the WCO. So I wonder if so it's interesting to know if and Zoom has a poll facility, I think. So I think it's interesting to understand if any of you already familiar with the WCO at this point of time, if you understand what it is, what its function, or at least have you ever heard about that? It was not the case with me. So I would like to start with this. So the WCO, World Customs Organization, is an intergovernmental organization. Its primary members is custom administration in a country. So it has 180 members by now. And the members of the WCO process 98% of international trade. So there are two interesting points here that in different country, there are different setup on how custom work. In our case, we are under Ministry of Finance. In some country, it's under Revenue Authority. In some other country, it's under or together with Ministry of Trade, like in Turkey, for instance, custom is together with the Ministry of Trade. So that's why our primary members is custom administration, but the actual institution who is become the member can be different from one country to another. And also I wrote here, and you may be interested to ask later in QA session, you may ask why the member of WC only process 98%. Well, what does it mean? What is the remaining 2% of the trade in the world? Who process that? I think it will be quite interesting, but I will just skip it for now. So the WCO is a standard setting body, and then its primary objective is to do harmonization of custom procedure at the global level. And the main convention or the main product of the WCO is the revised Kyoto Convention. So if you, I believe that you know the Undang-Undang Nomor 17 tentang kepabeanan. Undang-undang kita derive our custom law is deriving because we already rectified and exit the WCO cases. So our law is deriving or implementing most of the provision of the revised Kyoto Convention. The WCO is a member-driven organization. Its work is governed by the council. The standard setting process, the work of the WCO is undertaken by the WCO working bodies, and its daily operational activity is run by the secretariat, the WCO secretariat, which led by the Secretary General of the WCO. Who is the WCO Secretary General? Yes, you're correct.
Korea.
Korea. And then, so when people say, and this is why I put this background, when people say working in the WCO, I think it's often mean working with the WCO Secretariat. And I believe you are also familiar with ASEAN and ASEAN Secretariat, perhaps, because the headquarters is Indonesia. So it's quite similar. I'm working as a technical officer in the WCO Secretariat. So my main function is, of course, to do the Secretariat work. Next.
Okay, wait.
Okay. So because we are talking about my experience as a technical officer, in the WCO there are around 40 to 50 technical officer. Yeah. The total number of the official or staff in the WCO is around 200. So among these 200 is 40 and 50 technical officer. The rest is technical attaché, and there's also support staff. And also, of course, there are managers. But specifically for the technical officer, there are 40 to 50. I need to check the exact number for now. The basic term of the contract of a technical officer is a 5-year. And all of them, the technical officer that is there in the WCO, start the date of the contract and will end their date of contract in a different time. Because that is the situation. So like, for instance, if maybe today there is one technical officer and their contract, but the rest is maybe the others, maybe they will only end the contract in next year or next 2 years, or maybe next month. So there are different time and period. So this indicate why you need to take note of this, because later when we talk about the vacancy of the technical officer, you will see that the vacancy of the technical officer will be announced one at a time. When there is a vacancy, it's only for one technical officer. So this explains why. And then the structures, just to give an idea, the position of technical officer in the organization, we have Mr. Kunio Mikuria as Secretary General, the Deputy Secretary General, Ricardo Treverino. We have 3 directors, and so my direct superordinate, my direct boss is a deputy director. So the purple one is my position there, the technical officer, and then we work together as well with the technical attaché. So as you can see from the deputy director, deputy secretary general, and secretary general, they are working at the managerial level and on policy level kind of setup. But the most burden, the most activity is conducted by either technical officer or technical attaché. So I write in the next slide that the technical officer is the spearhead of the WCO secretariat. The next one, I would like to share, and because this is also one of the point that is requested to be shared, on experience in applying the WCO vacancy. So the vacancy of my position that I'm occupying right now was announced in mid 2015. So if come back to my explanation before, so I was projected to replace my predecessor. So the name of my predecessor was SP Sahu. It's an Indian custom officer. He has when he ended his term, he has been worked for the WCO for 8 years. Okay. So, and that point of time in mid 2014, around July and August, if I remember correctly. So somebody gave me a piece of paper and told me that Tejo, the requirement on this vacancy is really explain your qualification. So that is correct, because the attachment of that announcement, the vacancy announcements, really fit my qualification, all of my experience and technical knowledge and skill in the area of IT. And then coincidentally, and of course it's not a coincidence, I had a bunch of certificate from training course award that inline with all of those requirements. I just attached all of them in my application form, and then and it's sent to the WCO. And in the application form itself, there is also a number of questions in the forms. The most important in that form is, and there's some essay as well to describe my knowledge, my understanding about the post that I'm applying. The selection process include internal selection by the DJBC. It was done by Hubin. Some of you may still remember Hubin, or you already forgot already. So it is a Kial before it is renamed into Kial, just like today. The selection process was led by Pak Imi, and so this just before Pak Imi went to Hong Kong as custom attaché. So so it's quite taking place in a row when I went to Brussels, arrived in Brussels, and then Pak Imi, and then was also assigned to be as custom attaché in Hong Kong. The next step is selection by the WCO based on the application form, based on the qualification, essay, and etc. And there was a remote interview via Skype by the WCO. The name is WCO Selection Committee. And this committee consists of 3 persons, which is the deputy director, which is my boss, and then head of administration and personnel, and then the incumbent, which is Mr. SP Sahu, my predecessor. And then the final decision made by the Secretary General based on a short list. So eventually the final decision is the prerogative right of the Secretary General himself. Next one. Okay, so because it is InspiraTalk, so I think that I would like to share some of the key success, key considerations for the preparation, and also some other more actual or technical preparation when applying a technical officer position. So I think that what described my situation at that point of time, again, it's around mid of 2014. The situation is that it's just do it. I think just do it's really describe what happened at that point of time. So I understand a number of things, but what I understood at that point of time is really the tip of an iceberg. So there are a lot whole thing that actually is underwater, and that I might not know at that point of time on the detail what does it mean of being technical officer, the detail of the tasks that I need to do in the WCO. So there are some other on living in Belgium, how to move to the Brussels to Belgium. So there are a lot of things that I did not know. So I think the key situation that I can describe is really just do it. So sometime, and you may have this experience in some point of time of your life where you have an opportunity, specifically in an opportunity that lead to some life-changing event, like for instance, for example, if you're being promoted or you had an opportunity to get a scholarship and study in overseas or working in the overseas. You may not know all of the detail. And the other way around, if you understand all of the detail, you may and then think having second thought, like some worry, some hesitation, lack of confidence, something like that. So I took advantage of not knowing everything. So I just proceed. I just walk based on what I know at that point of time, and of course there is a consequence on that, because the iceberg, the iceberg under the water that is something that you really need to you deal with eventually everything. So what I can say during my time as technical officer in WCO, there are a lot of learning process. Yeah, so we start from zero, and then we develop the knowledge, the experience, and so on and so forth, become a bit better and better every time and every day. So when I joined the WCO, I was 30 years old. So I was the first technical officer from Indonesia So meaning that I cannot learn from anyone because nobody has that experience before. And also I was the youngest as well, the technical officer in the WCO. So it doesn't mean that this is an extraordinary situation, but it's just describe the challenge that I have, that the ice underwater that I really need to deal and to learn. Okay, so the key consideration of preparation. So when we talk about the preparation, I don't think that we are talking about 1 week or 2 weeks before an event. Like if you applying for a scholarship or applying for anything, of course you have a preparation to apply, but the preparation is more a lifetime preparation, I would say, because you cannot do that, because some of your capacities develop not only in 1 or 2 days, but during lifetime. So I think the key one is always to have a vision, to have a dream, and if I ask you, do you remember your dream last night? So a dream is never be clear, yeah, because you don't remember your dream last night, but you have a dream. And so it's okay to have a dream. It may not be clear at the beginning, or it's just really a dream. It may not reflect your daily reality, but it's really important to have something in mind that I'm more than this, something like that, more or less. Why? Because it helps us to be persistent, to keep develop our quality and capacity. So, and then it will translate in your daily activity, like in your working environment, for instance, and when you are doing your job. I don't believe in offer qualified for a job or offer done because when you give your best in your work, so it's not necessary you do it for the boss or to please anyone else, because sometimes it's really just important for you yourself, at least for your own personal development. So this is really what I can share, and I believe, and what I can proud of. This is how I worked when I was in IKJ. That was what I have done. I really do some extra miles sometime, and when doing something. So it's primarily not only to please anyone else, not to please even the boss, but it's actually an opportunity to develop myself. Why this is important? Because as I mentioned before, sometimes if you have a life-changing opportunity, some extraordinary opportunity, sometimes it's require a different quality. Yeah, it's a good quality that's quite above average. And this and later I would like to tell you what does it mean, because like for instance, become a TO. TO has a lot of responsibility. There's a lot of tasks that require this kind of quality. So you need to give a little bit more in having that position. Okay, so that is the thing that I can share with you. Hopefully, it's useful. And for the preparation, for the actual preparations, of course, it is important for you to understand what the WCO is. I think that you need to get yourself familiar with the WCO instrument and tools, but also you need to have a field experience as a custom officer in some specific area. So whatever the area in custom that you are doing right now, you need to do it very well and develop your experience in it in any field in your daily work. International networking is also important. So if you have an opportunity to attend any international event, workshop, short course, or any other things, you need to take that opportunity, and don't forget to establish networking to get to know people. Because what happened is, when, like in my case, when the WCOs made a selection, of course they do know who I am at all, who is Tejo. I think nobody knows who I was. But when I put there in my application some of the name that seems to be known, so I put on the name of the chairperson of the one of the working body in the WCO at that point of time. So it's like help the WCO to, oh, I can little bit imagine who this guy is, even he's not known. Language proficiency, of course, this is important, but I can tell you that I was not very proficient in any language except Indonesia when I start, and I think it's our disadvantage in Indonesia. I think that most of our interaction is using bahasa, and if you want to be proficient in English, you need to expose yourself with environment that support you. The next one. Okay, so the next one is cultural shock living in Brussels. So I would start that Brussels is a livable city. It is the heart of Europe. It is the headquarters of the European Union, European Commission. So it is pretty much international city. There are a lot of international residents living in Brussels. So nothing so much that you can complain in Brussels. If you enjoy living in Jakarta, I think that you will be able to live in Brussels quite well as well. But of course, you need to open your mind because if you are going to a new environment, of course you need to adapt to that new environment as well. So I don't think that it is a cultural shock, but of course there are a lot of difference. There are a lot of cultural difference. There are other different as well. When I first arrived in Brussels, so the first thing, the shock or the difference that I have is food. Of course, the food is very different. So I hope that you are grateful if today you can eat nasi padang. So because you will miss them differently. And I don't know, Mas Iswandi, if you can find this kind of food in Canberra.
I missed them already.
Yeah, because I think in Canberra you can find this kind of food in some of the places. I remember when
Exactly.
in some of cafeteria close to the custom office there. Yeah. And then currency and exchange rate, of course, the difference that you will experience, because then you will, whenever you do transaction, then you try to calculate how much it is in rupiah, for instance. Some I believe that is quite natural, but over time you will get used to deal with the local currency. When I arrived here, it's quite funny for myself. To find essential product is quite challenging for me, and I can spend 45 minutes only to find an essential product, not necessarily a big shopping during weekend, but just for example, if you go to Indomart or Alfamart, you may in 10 minutes you can find what you want, and of course then you need to stand in queue to pay. I think that is the most of the time that you spend, but it was not the case at the first time, because you can imagine, like, if you look at bungkus sabun mandi, so the only word that you cannot find there is sabun mandi. So you can find bungkus sabun mandi. It has bunga mawar misalnya di sana. But how can you figure out if that's actually a sabun mandi? And more, what make it worse is in here in Brussels, everything is in French and in Dutch. So even if you try to bring a translator with you, you still puzzled to find this kind of thing. So this is quite funny for myself. I spend a lot of time only to familiar myself with grocery stores. And then daylight length. I arrived in January 2015, so it's in the peak of winter. So the daylight length is very short. So when you go to the office, it's very dark. It's like you went to the office subuh, and that's really that is the feeling. And then like you go back to the home very late at night. Even it's still actually 6 o'clock or 6:15. Because the short daylight length. And then also the dynamic weather. It's happening until today. I think that because the weather is very dynamic, it can change very extremely in a day. People here are quite familiar with utilizing weather apps, and it was not the case for me even until today. So I experienced a lot of time I wear the wrong clothes, like it's too thin or too thick, something like that. Next one.
Okay.
And then the working culture different is, and when I arrived at the time, we use full email because we, of course, here we don't use surat tugas or nota dinas. I think you are very familiar with surat tugas in your daily working environment. And I believe now you are getting familiar with using email, but in 2015, even for me myself, we were not yet very using email in our daily work, and also it's not official email. But in here in WCO, working in WCO, if there is email arriving in your inbox, even if you are not in the main list of recipient, even if you're in the CC, then it's officially a surat tugas or a nota dinas. You need to look at it. Because it's assignment for you. As I mentioned before, technical officer is spearhead of most of the WC activity. And WC is a diverse working environment because there are different personal characters, just like you with your colleague, very different each other. And sometimes you get along with some of the colleague, but you may struggle to get along with other colleagues. So there are different character individual, but also not only at individual level, but also the diverse national culture. And there's also different educational background and educational background system, which is different as well. And it's influence on how you interact between one another. There is also experience in past working method, like if you are familiar. So I had a colleague who was from German, for instance. She was already implement flexible working hour. So it's a very different way of working, the experience. So it's influence on how you collaborate with your peers. I'm working in the facilities and subdirectorate. It's consists of a lot of ASEAN, so I'm quite lucky because there are a lot of ASEAN in my subdirectorate. There are a few of European, there are a number of African colleagues, and my direct boss is an American, is from the US CBP. In my time during I'm working here, I have experienced led by 3 directors. My first director was from China, the second one from the US, and currently was India. And the current one is the former Director General of Indian Customs. And I also worked for 3 deputy directors. The first one was from Germany, and then the Netherlands, and then currently from the US. And they are all have different management and leadership styles. So it's actually enrich your experience as well. And I learned a lot from every of them. Next one.
Okay.
So this is also put in the pointers, the benefits of the official, the pay grade is, and the entry level is 6,000 euro. It's gradual increase to 8,000 during the period of a 5 years contract. So this information is transparent in WCO financial report. So I think that there's nothing that needs to be hidden in this kind of information. You can find it in WCO financial report. And then in addition to this basic salary, there's a settlement and family allowance. So settlement allowance meaning when you arrive for the first time, because you need to book, you need to already find an apartment for yourself. So this is like the initial amount of money that you can use to settle in, to find apartment and find some daily necessity. And because I have my wife and my son with me, so I have family allowance as well. The salary that you get is a tax-free income. you are not obliged to pay tax, and the minimum tax rate in Belgium is 25%, so it's quite significant in 2019. And this amount is quite considered as higher compared to average Belgian. But of course, there are a lot of as well Belgian, a lot of rich Belgian as well that may have more salary compared to this level of pay grade. This benefit comes with a big responsibility, of course. And another benefit is international travel for capacity building, training, technical assistance to the WC members, and participant in international meeting. During my time till today, I visit 36 countries with average 11 international travel a year. So the maximum international travel that I've done is in the first year of my service, where I've done around 20 travels. So it's practically almost twice a month, which is too much. That's why the number is declining. Okay. Yes, Mas Iswandi, I think that's correct. So the cost of living, almost correct. Yeah. So I would like to touch about the work-life balance that mentioned, and I would like to link with the leave. So I think this is the primary difference, and I think it should be considered in our organization, in our institution. I have 30 days leave, yeah, in a year, and it's accumulated. So like, I have not checked my current status of my leave, but it's more than 60, I think, for what I have now. So it's mean if I use it from today, I can be at home and doing nothing for 3 months maybe. If I take all of the leave that I have. So this is, I think this is good, but of course, unfortunately, why I have a big number of leave even until today, it's because it is very, because the work is really there are the burden is so big, so that's really difficult to take a leave, to take this leave, because then you need to complete the assignment that you have. So in addition to this 30 days, you also have 14 days home leave. Home leave means that you can go back home to Indonesia. So it's like a paid travel. I can go back to Indonesia every 2 years, and then so twice during my 5-year term. But it's the 6,000. The major cost of living is the accommodation. So the apartment is quite expensive here. So monthly, in average, the monthly cost of apartment is 1,550. It is for a 2-bedroom apartment, and it's include essential service like electricity, water, heater as well, and also internet, because you need internet very much. So this is the average cost. If of course you can find, if you're lucky to find something that cheaper, but you really need to find. And my apartment right now is quite a good deal actually. And also you can you can also try to find a 1-bedroom apartment. So it's depend on what actually you need. Like for me, why I choose to have 2-bedroom, because sometime when there is some delegate come to Brussels, I would like to offer them to stay in my apartment. So that's possible. So that's why I have a 2-bedroom apartment for now. The next one is, okay, the working experience. So this is my portfolio. The topic that I'm handling right now is in the area of digital custom, information management, data standardization, passenger control, and so on and so forth. And I'm responsible in managing WCO working bodies, which is data model project teams, information management subcommittee, API PR contact committee. So this is the situation when we do a meeting. So I'm here, and this is the chairperson, the people who lead the meeting. So I need to assist the chairperson for anything that he need to for assistance, like mostly for clarification on the meeting document, schedule, and so on and so forth. And so I need to be really beside him so that I can assist him at any time so that the meeting can be done smoothly. And then this is my deputy director from the Netherlands. So prior to the current one, and this is the other one beside me is my colleague. And the photo below is the situation of the meeting room. So this is the delegates. So this the left one, the left side is API PNR contact committee. So you see the delegate from the IATA and ICAO and some of the delegate from member administration. The next one, I think it's the IMSC, the Information Management Subcommittee. Next one. Capacity building technical assistance to members country. So I have visited a number of countries. So I pick some of the example of the photo. The first one is African country, Lome, Togo. The next one is Bishkek, Kyrgyzstan. So they give me some traditional accessories. Baku, Azerbaijan, and then Karachi from the Pakistan, Lima, Peru, Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, and also Budapest. So, of course, there are a lot of interesting experience from every visit, but I think I'm mostly impressed my visit in Central Asia country. Why? Because I never thought in whole my life that I will ever be in one of that country in Central Asia. Because no, I mean we see some African country like or some Middle East country, South America. I think that we can be very familiar. But in my mind, whenever I look at the map, when I see that part of the globe, I think the prominent country will be, I think that's country China, either China or Russia. So I almost never imagined that there is some interesting country in that part of the world, which is Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, as also Turkmenistan. So those are interesting countries when I visit. The next one. So I have also an opportunity to meet some of the Indonesian delegate. The first one is the delegate from Pusdiklat when they attending Knowledge Academy, I think last year. The next one is Pak Ruby Tony, I think, and then Pak Alfian and Pak Henry. And then on the right side, when last year when the Ministry of Finance, Bu Sri Mulyani visit the WCO, so you have some people from the embassy, and Pak Ardi is current custom attaché. So in the middle lower is Pak Yan Indra when we met in Baku in Azerbaijan during the IT conference last year, and the left one is together with Bu Sri Mulyani, Pak Dirjen also visit us. The next one. Okay, so now the key takeaway. I would like to share with you what is key takeaway for us, specifically if you're a custom officer. What is the key role of WCO for the custom community? So the key role of WCO is it's enable integrated global supply chains management. Why it's like that? So you can imagine right now in your current working environment, you pretty much have everything available for you. Like you have importer registered, and then you have exporter registered, you have custom broker PPJK, you have shipping agent, and you have also and custom broker is very much trained to undertake to follow all of the custom procedures. So everything is available for you in Indonesia. So you may not think that I need anything else because you can do your work. You have PIB, pemberitahuan impor barang, manifest dalam bahasa Indonesia, semuanya tersedia. So what you should not forget is that custom is a prominent institution at the border. And then if you look at the supply chains, it's a cross-border activity. So there is some other activity taking place at the other side of the border, like for instance at the exporting country or in the transiting country. So I think it is necessary for you to start looking at what's going on at the other side of the border when the export declaration is being processed at the custom administration and the exporting country, or even some of the processes taking place in the commercial side of the supply chains, like what happened when people making an order, or even before that, what happened when the good is being manufactured, what happened when the good is being handed to a forwarder and being transported and transport contract is created. So there are a lot of activity taking place during the supply chains, and it has direct connection to your daily work. Like for instance, if you are familiar with the risk management, for instance, you're trying to assess, to calculate the risk of consignment. So, and you try to imagine some snapshot from any information that you have, what's going on actually in the supply chains. Because when you do risk management, it's basically you try to visualize what the condition of the consignment, whether this is a legal consignment, whether this is a illegal consignment, or a consignment that violate custom procedure, and so on and so forth. So it is really important for you to start looking at the other part of the supply chains process that take place at the other side of the border. So this is actually the key role of the WCO. The WCO facilitate this kind of process to enable a more integrated global supply chains management, so that helps you to have a more big picture on undertaking the custom business itself at the border. Okay, so I took too much time, so stop here. Please do ask questions if you want. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Tejo, for giving us such informative and amazing explanation. We already have a few questions in group chat and also in YouTube. Now we come to question and answer session. For the first question is coming from Kiram from Bea Cukai Tangerang.
Yeah.
Dear Kiram, you may activate your microphone.
Thank you, Mbak Dewanti, for the opportunity. Thank you and good afternoon in Indonesia to Mr. Iswandi and Mr. Tejo.
Thank you, Kiram.
Thank you so much for sharing and for motivating me again. Honestly, I've forgotten my dreams to work about since a long time ago, since I became a civil servant. I'm interested in a point that Mr. Tejo told us before about international networking. And I want to ask how to raise it, especially for us, for civil servant like us, who has limited time. And is the international networking that Mr. Tejo took is just in custom section, or is there any more from other? That's all. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you,
Should I
Kiram.
answer right away, or
Mr.
should I
Tejo,
wait?
Yes, you can directly answer it.
I think the simple answer is you should not limit yourself. If you have an opportunity, any opportunity, and you think you can manage that, of course, don't forget to manage everything. You should not take something that, for example, takes so much time of yours. And so the balance part is still important. So you should take as much as possible opportunities you have. If you have an opportunity to do your networking in custom affairs, that's good. If it is outside of the custom affair, it's also good. It's not bad at all. Why? Because when I'm talking about the opportunity, and I highlighted a life-changing opportunity, it can be anything. It may not be about custom. It may be about something else. So I think being open is also necessary to some extent. Yeah, so you should not limit yourself. In my case, my international networking experience was quite limited, but it's quite effective. I visited Australian custom in Canberra, Mas Iswandi.
Yep.
I had an opportunity, and then I had an opportunity to attend KOICA, the Korean government
Yep.
program, in Korea. I had as well opportunity to attend a meeting in Singapore. So it's not so many actually in terms of the number, but being effective, how you use every opportunity to have to make network, to get to know people, save their contact, get in touch with them. It will be it can be very useful for your future. Thank you.
Okay, Kiram, was the answer already clear enough for you, or there is more question?
One more question. Is virtual networking counted, sir?
Virtual.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Yeah. Of course. As the basic principle is anything can help. Again, I would like to come back. Of course, we should not limit ourselves because you may be able to take advantage of that kind of experience as well.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Tejo, for the answer.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next question is coming from Bella from Bea Cukai Lampung. For Kak Bella, you may activate your microphone.
No, I think Bella is watching from YouTube. He didn't register. You can ask
Hello,
Mas
I'm
Teddy.
here.
Oh,
No.
bisa. Alhamdulillah. Siap.
Hi,
Okay.
Mas Is.
Bisa ya, siap.
Okay. Hi, Mbak Depix. Thank you for the opportunity. Hi, Mr. Tejo. Greetings from Bandar Lampung. Good afternoon in here. My name is Bella. I am a customs officer in BC Lampung. Actually, I have a question, and my question is a simple question, actually. For you, Mr. Tejo, is working in WHO one of your life goals since beginning? Because maybe some people need to have goals first, and then we have to try. We can try to reach the goals, but some people maybe the chance is the chance come so easily for them. And the second question is, what is the biggest motivation for you for applying this job vacancy? Thank you.
Thank you, Bella.
Thank you, Bu Bella. Yes, I think that people may have different strategy with regard to their future and their vision, and I will not say that this one is correct and that one is not correct. People may have a specific target. It's very good because then you understand what you need to do. Some other people may not have a specific target. As I mentioned before, for my case, what I had was a vision, and it's more a dream, which is not very concrete at that point of time. So I think I have a dream that I would like to be something that is prominent, important, and I need to achieve that to take some opportunity. So that kind of, so it was not a specific. And as I mentioned, I did not know WCO before I start apply. Unfortunately, that was the truth. But of course, don't follow my path. As now that you have an opportunity, of course, it's useful for you to get to know what the WCO is. Yeah. So yeah, to answer your question, it wasn't my specific target, but I had a dream. So that's what motivated me to move forward with everything, with the personal development and so on and so forth. So hopefully it can respond to the question. Thank you.
Okay, Kak Bella, was it clear enough for you?
It's clear. Thank you so much, Mr. Tejo.
Okay, Mr. Tejo, the next question, I'm a little bit afraid because it's coming from the master ceremony. Okay, the next question we have Mr. Teddy from Kanwil, Bea Cukai, Kanwil, Bali, and Nusa Tenggara. Okay, Mr. Teddy, You may
Okay.
activate your microphone.
All right. Thank you
Mas
very much.
Teddy.
Hello, Mas Iswandi, Mas
Hello, Mas
Tejo.
Ted.
I hope that all of you are doing great.
Yeah, thank you.
Especially you two, two incredible persons that I personally know. First of all, maybe I have to make some corrections according to where I am right now. I'm not working at the Kanwil Bali, tapi I'm working at the Ngurah Rai Customs Office.
Oh,
It's
iya.
two different
Dia
offices,
mix.
although it's a neighboring offices, but no. I'm
Ngurah Rai
working
dia
for
mix.
Ngurah Rai, yeah. It's a big difference.
I'm sorry,
Anyway,
Mr.
but that's okay, that's okay. No, that's okay,
Push
Dewan.
up, push up.
I have a question. I don't know whether Tejo is in a safe situation where he can answer this, because it's a little bit tricky to know. I just want to know that during my experience when I studied and doing my master's degree, I had to work together with other students from other countries, and I found it very difficult to make the collaboration happen. Do you experience the same in WCO, since you've mentioned previously that you work with other people from other countries who I believe have different perspectives, different attitude towards some things. Do you have the same experience where you find it difficult, or WCO has this excellent method of recruiting officers where everybody who works there has an excellent attitude to everyone? So I really want to know, especially about the politics among the countries that's happening there at the Secretariat, if you are in a safe position to answer the question from the office. Thank you.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, thank you, Pak Teddy. And before I answer my question, I would like to put the credit as well. So when I apply this position, Pak Teddy play a very important role as well, because he actually assist and help with my application form. So I had a back and forth email message with Pak Teddy at that point of time on my application, and I think Pak Teddy may witness that I was very I don't know how to describe it. What is this boy doing? Maybe that's what you're feeling about that one. So ada unsur nekatnya juga pada waktu itu. Maybe Pak Teddy had that impression, but Pak Teddy again play an important role. He was part of the team of Pak Imi, I think, in this selection process. So I think that I have to thank you, Pak Teddy, for all of this process. And also one more thing that Pak Teddy is also my inspiration as well. He, as you know, he's a very good master of ceremony, and his English was excellent. And I attended one of the workshop organized in Bandung, I think at the point of time, about, I think, TPB, maybe the expert was from the Netherlands, I thought. And Pak Teddy very smoothly facilitated that workshop. So obviously he was one of my inspiration as well. So thank you for that. As for your question, that is correct. I think that, as I mentioned, there are diverse people here in the secretariat, and it's not a problem for me to share with you. Luckily, there are a number of ASEAN staffs here. I have a colleague from Japan, from Vietnam, and then from Bhutan is also ASEAN. Bhutan, and then. Yeah, so at least there are 4 ASEANs. So it's very helpful already. We share a number of quite a similar way of our value, but there are also some other people that has different value. Some European, some of people may look you down, and it can be a challenge and barrier as well when you collaborate. And that kind of challenge indeed exists. Sometimes you may not be able to work very smoothly, but I think what I find here is there are 2 things. First, you need to keep things at the professional level. I mean, and you should not take it too personally sometimes, and it helped a lot. I mean, in the personal arrangement, I think you aim at achieving your objective, and very much it will eliminate some of the friction and personal friction. That is first. And second, the role of leader is important. So because their role is really to manage, but also to moderate, and sometimes to consult, to provide the guidance on how to interact with each other. So I had some of, not all of them, some of our my managers very good in terms of the leadership. He or she had a quite good experience in working with different kind of person, so we can rely on them on how we interact with other colleagues as well. So I think maybe there are more, but I think these two things is quite important in with regard to your question. Thank you.
Okay, if I may clarify or have a follow-up question, just a quick one. First off, I just want to clarify that what you did on the recruitment process is all on you. I have very little contribution. I have to clarify this. And second, about my quality as an MC, of course, I'm a good MC. Everyone knows that. But Iswandi is a much better one. So yeah, very clear on that. Yeah.
Come
okay.
on.
And then, and then my follow-up question is this. When you first arrived and starting work for WCO Secretariat, did they provide you with a transition period where they put you in a classroom and then, like have this cultural class, like how to get to know each other and everything, or they just have you to start to work on the go?
Yeah, so the answer is no, and maybe it's not good. I think that's maybe necessary, but I think that also WCO cannot afford that, in a way that the time, because the fact is that WCO is understaffed. We have very limited budget, and the number of staff that we have is actually, we need more, because taking into account the number of activity that we need to do. So I think that the secretary doesn't have time for that, to have that kind of special class on. So what happened is, when I arrived, my predecessor already depart. So I did not even meet SP Sahu, the one that I'm replacing. But there was somebody else, technical atasin from Singapore, which is Donald Tan. So he like provide on the job training for me. But of course, Donald Tan is not the core expert. So I was not learned from the core expert in my area as well. But he was from the Singapore, meaning ASEAN. So we get along quite well together, and so he helped me very well in catching up with all of that process.
Okay, so I think we should move to the next question. There are a lot of participants here who raised hand, and we are going to Rahma. Dear Rahma, you may activate your microphone.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah, hi Rahma.
My name is Rahma, currently working as customs officer in Tembilahan. It's a small city in Riau and classified as one of kantor remote area in Indonesia, but I have lots of great experience here. So, if I'm not mistaken, there are two official language in WCO, English and French. Also, Spanish and Russian as working languages that normally used at the Harmonized System Committee. Please correct me if I'm wrong. If we able to speak at least one of them, did we have maybe a bigger chance to pass the selection? So between sharpening our skill and improving our language ability, did both of them are equally important, or maybe one of them more important for you?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for the question. It's very important. The official language of the WCO for now is English and French, and there's a working group tasked to explore the possibility to add more new language, like the language that you mentioned before. So it's in the piloting phase, and the work is ongoing. But currently, it's English and French. Of course, that's correct. If you proficient in more than one language, English and specifically French, it's helpful a lot. And because and I believe it's an additional consideration because language is important here, and I can give you an example because France, for instance, French-speaking country, for instance, they will complain if the document for the French version of the document is not available timely, for instance, or is late. Then they will complain to the secretariat, and the WSO also invest a lot in terms of the language interpretation, in language translation. So I would like to show you from my cell phone. I don't know if you can do that, and I will show you. Because I'm right now in the meeting room.
Yep. You
So
can show us. Yep. Just take
try
around.
to
Yep.
let me try to mute my main voice.
That's so amazing. The room is very tempting for us. Mr. Iswandi, do we
Yeah.
still have time to the people who still want to ask question?
I think yeah. Just
Because
give
there
to
are 3 people who still raise
yeah.
hand.
Maybe short question. Boleh Depik?
So sorry.
Maybe short question from the participant.
Sorry.
Hello. Yeah. Okay. Maybe.
Okay. The next question from the. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. From the next question, I will choose the one who still raise hand and still turn the camera on. So it will goes to Irma Safitri. You may activate your microphone.
Hello. Can you hear my voice?
Yes, Irma.
Yes, it's clear.
Thank you, Devi, for the opportunity. Thank you, Mr. Tejo Kusuma, and thank you for Mas Iswandi Bana. I want to ask a question about what is the difference of this environment in WCO and in Indonesia? How are the people there? How they work, and how do you adapt with it? Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Teja, you may answer directly.
So the quick answer to that is that the working environment quite different. As I mentioned before, you are familiar with surat tugas and nota dinas. We are working mainly with email. The person is very diverse because of different background, but of course, even in your office, for instance, you have also diverse colleagues as well with different characters. So I think more or less it's quite the same. But the main difference is that WSO is an organization and DJBC is an institution and governmental is an institution. So DJBC is working based on a custom law. It has a legal basis, and the WSO is more working in the different levels. So we cannot really compare apple to apple. But of course, there are a lot of lessons learned that you can take and you can implement in your working environment. So yeah, obviously quite different the working environment between in WCO as organization and in the DJBC as an institution. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so the next question is coming from Mr. Tarto from Riau. Mr. Tarto, you may activate your microphone.
Thank you, Mbak Dewanti. Halo, Mas Iswandi and Tejo.
Halo, Pak Tarto. Mas Tarto.
Thank you for your presentation. It's absolutely amazing. And I would like to thank you for your hospitality when I was there in Brussels. We met, and honestly, I envy you. I totally envy you. I want to be a technical officer just like you, but I just haven't got that opportunity yet. Well, my question would be, well, related to Rahma's question about language. In WCO, the official language is English and French, but as we know, Belgium official or national languages, there are 3: French, Dutch, and German, if I'm not mistaken. So how do you cope your daily activities in Brussels only using English, while people in Brussels speak other than English? Thank you for your response.
Terima kasih Pak Tarto. It's a good questions, and I would not suggest you to follow my path in this in this part. So if you have an opportunity to work and live here in Belgium, I think you need to invest in learning French. For me, it was just very challenging for me. I just couldn't afford that in terms of my time and also the complexities of French is very complex. The language, the pronunciation is very difficult. It's used a lot of throat here, and then it's just I just cannot afford of and also because of my time in WCO working here is very take a lot of my time. But if you had the opportunity to do so, I think that you should consider that. So Bu Anita is our custom attaché that very proficient in France, so it's very good. And that's correct. So actually, in Belgium, you can survive by speak English only. In fact, I mean, in reality, not everyone speak English. So you may have some level of difficulties to communicate. Like when you order food, you order anything in the shop, you may experience some difficulties. But at least then you need to do bahasa isyarat, unfortunately. And if you live long enough here, of course, you will understand some of basic language, like how much, kombiang, something like that. And that's the basic word that can help you in doing basic daily activity. So I survive but only by using English, and I would not say this is very good. So and also the disadvantage of not speaking local language is local news. I pretty much don't really understand what's going on in Brussels because I don't read newspaper. So my strategy for that is I follow a Facebook group of life in Belgium. So they are all speaking in English. So they sometimes talk about what's going on in Belgium. So like my experience, sometime in one day I saw there are a big demonstration. And that is blocked transportation, strike, something like that, and then I just did not know what happened. What is this about? What's going on? Yeah, so that's disadvantage of not speaking local language. Thank you.
Thank you, Pedro.
Okay, so the next question is coming from one of our loyal participants in Mas Iswandi Bana the meeting. Okay. The next question coming from Randy Patmanaba. You may activate your microphone.
Hello and thank you, everyone. My name is Randy from Bea Cukai Madiun. I saw on WCO website about WCO Japan Professional Associate Program. I would like to ask, do you have any idea about how is the workload as a professional associate in WCO Japan Professional Associate Program? Thank you.
Yeah.
Do you get the point, Mas Tejo?
Yeah.
Okay.
Professional associate, right? So professional associate will stay in Brussels with the secretariat for 10 months. So it is around 10-month program. So you asked specifically about the workload, and it's depend on the tutor. So coincidentally, for instance, I have assigned as a tutor for one PA from Gambia, for instance, this year. So I work together with him in this year in my portfolio as well. So because it's depend on tutor, for me, I will use that opportunity as much as possible. So I work together with him, share some of the burden with them. So that is the nature of the WCO staff. We have a lot of things to do, and then we need to share the burden. So the workload can be quite a lot, yeah. But it's an opportunity really, because then it helps you to really get your hands dirty in the WCO business. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for your answer.
Depik, you know that Mas Randy will go to United States, right? For your master. Is that true?
Oh, really?
No?
Yeah, but in fact, I'm still waiting for the announcement of WCO Japan Associate Program, so I
Okay.
don't really know.
Great.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good luck for you, Mas Randy.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Siapa
the next
lagi,
question
Depix?
is from one of my MC's friend that still raised
Who's
hand
that?
till now. Okay, I'm giving this opportunity to Dika from Cirebon.
Monggo.
Okay.
Thank you, Kak Dewanti. Thank you, Mas Iswandi and Mas Teja. Well, let me introduce myself first. I am Dika Intan. I'm now an employee for the custom excise in Cirebon. Well, basically, during this pandemic, Mas Teja, we meet the same condition, right? That we cannot travel, and then this brings us that as a as a foreigner or the one who studied abroad, so you cannot go back home. So my question is, would you mind to share some tips in overcoming the homesick during this pandemic? Everyone feel the same, right? So maybe you will have you will share some tips for us. That one. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. First of all, before I answer the question, I would like to say hi to my colleagues, rekan seangkatan, Pak Ian Irvianto yang sudah gabung. Thank you for
Pak
joining.
Ian.
So, yeah. So if you
Also my
understand that,
friend, that's my colleague. Come
yeah,
on.
yeah. Yeah, so, for the homesick, I think that everybody can have an opinion to that, and of course you can share your opinion if you want. But from my side, I think that you need to make yourself busy. Of course, I think that it's being WFH, working from home. It's give us a lot of opportunity to develop our hidden talent, perhaps. So keeping yourself busy will become a distraction from the homesick. And the second one, of course, engagement with family members remain important. I keep having a video call with my family, with my son, with my wife every day. For me, it's a little bit more challenging because the time difference. So I can only do it during the lunchtime Brussels time, because it will be evening or afternoon in Indonesia. But really to keep stay in touch with our loved one in this difficult time. So hopefully can help.
Thank you for the tips, Mas Teja. So
You're
hopefully everyone to do good health here.
Amin. Okay, I think that's the last question we have because we are running out of time. But I have something special for Mr. Tejo because there is somebody who like to express the support and bring back memories with Mr. Tejo. Let's have a look.
Okay, wait a moment. Yep.
Hello everyone, good morning. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Halim Nuswantoro. I am currently Human Resource Manager at the Southern Sulawesi Regional Custom and Excise Office. And I was asked by Mas Iswandi to give a short testimony about today's keynote speaker, Mas Tejo or Pak Tejo. So coincidentally, Tejo and I are the part of the 19th batch, year 2003 of Diploma 3 Custom and Excise at the State College of Accounting, or known as STAN. So my first impression at Tejo at that time was that he's actually kind of nerd. But yes, I know that he is a kind-hearted and he had an expertise in IT or language program, as far as I know. Among many memories, Tejo and I, also one of our friend Agusta, is now at the Financial Education and Training Agency, or called PPPK at the Kemenq, were in one of the stand debating team when we were joining Java Overland Varsity's English debate at Bandung at that time. As I recall, our team were just an underdog team, yet we managed to be the first runner-up or second winner and lost at the grand final to the University of Indonesia team. I remember how we spent hundreds of hours learning and practicing public speaking and case building together. And Tejo is a very, diligent person. He came on time and he is very kind-hearted, I think. And with those impressions of mine, along with my up-close and personal experience with him, it is no wonder that today he is more than capable of becoming a technical officer at the WCO. And I'm convinced with years of exposures and experiences during his tenure at the WCO, there are many things he can definitely share with us. And I do really wish that he will never be tired to contribute more and more to the knowledge and to the institutions. As what we are going to witness today, that today Tejo is sharing some of his experience with us to elevate our knowledge and maybe motivate and inspire us. So that's all from me. Thank you and have a great time, everyone. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wah.
That's very sweet video. And we still have one more, right, Mr. Iswandi?
Yes, that's right.
We still have one more, and here it is.
Okay. Special for the
Hi there, we're all here now that all the time you put the hard work to be someone you aspire to be now has been paid off. Congratulations, we're so proud of you. Actually, your dreams come true.
Devi, we know that you are someone who always inspires us, and we hope that you're gonna be like that. Keep your spirit burning, berkobar.
Mbak Devi, the first piece of my mind about Mbak Devi is not mere a senior, but she is a great colleague. She can help and support each other to do the best for Bea Cukai Pengalaman. We are so proud of you.
She is also a sister for me and for the rest of us, and always supports us among us and always listen their friends need. Thank you for always being there, Mbak Devi. We're so proud of you.
I ever met people who are good, stunning, and inspiring. Mbak Devi is the one of them. I'm so proud of you, Mbak Devi.
Always been there when someone wants to know the person who the good, stunning, and inspiring is.
Since I know Mbak Devi, she is known as smart, humble, energetic, and a strong woman.
Mbak Devi dares to take a part in the civilian activities, which are sometimes carried out at night, and the terrain is also full of risks, of course. Knowing Devi as a friend and also as someone I look up to, I know that she always dedicates her best to the organization in which Bea Cukai Pengalaman. And I know I want to be like her too, like knowing what you want and then catching it, getting it, having it, and keeping it. Recollect Devi, I really am proud of you.
Wow, surprise for Tejo and also the Pix. Both of them, they don't know exactly the surprising guest.
did not know this is going to happen. Oh my God, I'm crying.
Okay,
Mas.
first of all, I would
Thank
like
you
to go to
so.
Tejo. Tejo, what do you think about Halim as your colleagues in the batch 19, your debate also with Mas Teddy, a long journey, and then at the office?
Yeah, of course. Overall, I think that, and I believe that you have your own experience with your batch, rekan seangkatan.
Yes, of
Rekan
course.
seangkatan is always important
Yeah.
for you because they are your family, like your closest family that go with you and they back you up. And so I think that it's very important to keep in touch with them, enhance your relationship with them. So Halim is also one important person in Angkatan as well. And also about, I would like to highlight that our experience in SAC, Stan English Club. I think that, we've done it every night. So this is really interesting and memorable experience with Halim.
Okay, thank you. And Depix, what's your thought about your friends from Pangkalan Bun?
Oh my God, Mas, I didn't know this will happen. How could you do this? How could they do this to me? When we made the video,
All right. Okay, I think that's a wrap. Thank you so much, Depik and
okay.
also Tejo. Still, can you handle this?
Yeah. I will try to be professional.
Take a deep break. All right. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
everyone. After joining our InspiraTalk, I would like to ask some participants to express their thoughts or short comment about the webinar. Okay, I would like to go for from Farin. Okay, Farin, would you please give any feedback or comment about the
Hi,
webinar?
Farid.
Hi, Swandi. My comments. Thank you for Swandi for organizing this webinar so well. Thank you, Kak Iwanti. Great job. You doing as moderator today. You doing so well. Dan semangat juga Kak untuk pekerjaannya di Kiel nanti. Dan for Pak Tejo, thank you, Pak Tejo, for the presentation and also the materials. You inspired me so much. Especially, I have a goal to work in international stuff like you.
Yeah, you
someday,
can.
and you just like coba dulu aja atau nekat gitu ya Pak ya. And I'll keep that quotes for my life. Thank you Pak Tejo.
Sama.
Thank you, Farin. I learned a lot from you too. And one more from Mr. I think I see Mas Chandra from Bea Cukai Perak. Could you please activate your microphone and give your thought about this sharing session, please?
Okay, thank you, Dewanti, Depix. And hello again, Mas Iswandi.
Iya. Kenapa milih dia lagi sih, Depix?
I actually want to ask a question, but maybe I don't have that rezeki. Okay. So thank you, Mas Tejo, for your presentation. That was really great. I honestly didn't know much about WCO and stuff, but with this webinar really helped me to know WCO better. And of course, it's really interesting to be a part of WCO, and I hope some of us here joining this webinar will have the same opportunity with Mr. Tejo someday.
Yep.
Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Chandra.
Okay, I'm so sorry if my Chandra has been asked. I just choose the one who's still turn their
It's okay. Thank you, David.
Okay, maybe we could have another opinion or thought about this event from Mr. Rahman. Please, could you please activate your microphone? Mr. Rahman? Or maybe is there anyone here who wants to
Or you can ask Pak Irvianto,
gratitude?
Pak Irvianto, Mbak Depix, you may ask him.
Okay, yes, For Mr. Irvianto, you may activate your microphone, please, to give some comments about this event.
Okay. Pak Irvianto. Okay.
Actually, I would like to ask my boss, but I'm just afraid that
you can ask your boss.
Ibu Ririn.
Ibu Ririn, come on Ibu Ririn. Mana ada Ibu Ririn ya? Halo Bu Ririn.
Ibu Ririn in Indonesian Customs. Bahasa Indonesianya yang punya WCO ini Ibu Ririn.
Iya benar-benar. Enggak Bu Ririn.
Sorry, I'm not in proper clothes ya.
Yeah, it's okay.
Sorry, Bu Ririn, it's from Mas David and Mas Deli.
Thank you, Iswandi, for organize this such very inspirational event ya.
Yeah, Bu.
And also Tejo to share your experience with all the young generation of Indonesia Customs. I really hope that there will be others to follow your path in WCO. Thank you.
Thank you, Bu Ririn.
Okay. Once again, thank you, Mr. Tejo, for amazing inspiration, and thank you, Mr. Iswandi, for arranging this event, and thank you everyone for joining today's sharing session. I would like to apologize if there are many mistakes from me as a moderator during this session. And just for your information, if you were late to join this session, don't worry, because you can rewatch this recording from Iswandi Bana YouTube page. And we hope you learned something today. And if you find this sharing session informative and useful, please don't hesitate to share what you guys got in your social media. You can tag at Iswandibana and also at Tejo_AK and also at me maybe at Depix on Instagram, or you can simply show support by giving thumbs up and subscribe to Iswandibana YouTube channel. Well, I am Dewanti. That's all from me. Have a great rest of your day. And until next time, we'll see you again in another InspiraTalk by Mr. Iswandi. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you everyone. Thank you semuanya.
Sampai jumpa.
Baik, dari CII
Pak Dalijo,
mengundang Mas Tejo nanti di Agustus
ya.
Ya,
Pak Tejo, terima kasih. Thank you.
Thank you. Jangan lupa juga buat gabung di CEC Talk bersama Mas Tejo yang mungkin belum diekspor semua. Itu bisa gabung di hari Kamis 6 Agustus ya, bulan depan bersama Mas Tejo lagi. So, let's join CEC untuk bulan depan.
Pak Iswandi, if I may, little bit. Today, I think today's session is focusing in my experience from my point of view. So the next one here is the focus is more on what's going on in the WCO. So it's more in the WCO point of view.
Okay, good. Thank you Tejo for sharing. Okay, thank you everyone. Kita akan tutup acara ini dalam hitungan ketiga. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Thank you semuanya.